Mark Cuban heralds Ethereum, Bitcoin. We always wish that Mark Cuban would get into Bitcoin back in the old days, back when it would have mattered, back when the head of the Dallas Mavericks and the famous Yahoo investor could have helped the fledgling cryptocurrency. But now Bitcoin's doing just fine, so Cuban has decided to help Ethereum, the upstart cryptocurrency and so called enemy of Bitcoin. Cuban says, as an investment, I think Ethereum has the most upside. Bitcoin is better than gold. He also said that Dogecoin is a solid entry point to learn about cryptocurrency and shows how communities can impact markets. Sounds like fun. Ben Ark, Mark Cuban, the Dallas Mavericks, is finally with us, but he's an Ethereum fan. Is he right?
Who is this doofus? I don't know who this doofus is. He's like an American guy. I read that article and I was like, who is this? He was like somebody you would speak to who's just found out about Bitcoin and Ethereum and things, and they just say all the wrong things. And I actually think the quote was that he said that Ethereum is better than gold. It wasn't Bitcoin. I think he said Ethereum. And he also said Ethereum is the best currency on the planet or something. And you're like, what are you talking about? And like you said, the Doge thing, he said he bought Doge with his son and they learned about cryptocurrency through Doge. Is a lunatic, this guy. He's an idiot. But whatever, like people, may on board. He did mention Bitcoin as well, which is good. Ethereum just continues to exist. And I don't know when will people stop using what's the price of those gas fees? It's like cigarettes, isn't it? What's that price point where people actually just stop smoking? Like, how expensive do you have to make it? Like, how expensive do you have to make these transactions on Ethereum for people just to stop using it? But whatever. Like, the guy's a doofus. I'm going to say he'll lose some money, but he probably won't. He'll probably make a fortune. He's probably right. There's probably more upside in Ethereum. But who cares? It's crap. We're all in Bitcoin.
I feel Ben's right with that with the Ethereum. It does kind of beggar the question when you're paying gas fees equal to the item that you're purchasing. Like, are you, buying cigarettes? Are you in the downward slide?
But you can say the same for Bitcoin. You can say the same for on-chain Bitcoin.
Why is on-chain Bitcoin so cheap to transact at the moment? I don't get it. I was thinking about this today because I was looking because
everyone's hodling.
Right, because it's going up in. Usually, when you have like a crazy pump and we're going towards near all-time high, you have crazy fees. But it's cheap. It's like $3 to send a Bitcoin transaction. What's that all about?
But I think the peak fee last year wasn't until Bitcoin was back on the descent and everyone was scrambling to get out. So on the way up, it seemed like it was, relatively, obviously it was going up, but it wasn't going crazy. Whereas it was after it had reached all-time high that it suddenly just went boom, fees just went mental, loads of people trying to exit and faff about. And
Oh, fair enough. I didn't understand. I looked at the I had to pay someone in Bitcoin. I was going to complain about the fees and try and get them to pay for it. And then I realized how petty I would be because it's only $3. I didn't understand why. I was like, why is it so cheap? It shouldn't be cheap. Okay, that makes sense.
I think it's like Yogi Berra said, that place is too popular. Nobody goes there anymore. And Mark Cuban, just to recap, because everyone's forgotten already, but way, way back in the beginning of the internet, Mark Cuban launched this thing called broadcast.com. To my knowledge, he illegally broadcast college basketball games on broadcast.com, then sold it to Yahoo for something like $300 million. It gets even more exciting because this was at the peak of Yahoo, when Yahoo was worth, I don't know, $187 a share or something. Mark Cuban then proceeds to sell something like 90% of his Yahoo investment before the dot-com collapse, before Yahoo collapses. Other people that were with him that were very well off in this deal did not sell, lost most of their money in the dot-coms. Mark Cuban survives. Then he purchases the Dallas Mavericks NBA basketball team, becomes an outspoken basketball person in America. But everyone's forgotten that, yes, broadcast.com, to my knowledge, illegally broadcasting college basketball games that he had no rights for. And then Yahoo barely even used it, doesn't even use the domain name anymore. Another one of those horrible .com purchases that they just had.
Is that common knowledge, or is that something you're probably going to get?
Oh yeah, it's out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know the details. I wasn't there, but yeah, I do believe that yes, he was illegally. And again, at the time, no one else was doing it. So it was
Yeah.
like, they weren't even considering it as a market. And he helped them presumably realize how important streaming would be. But
Well,
it certainly did.
maybe gave a backdoor sorry, and accepted it.
Well, he certainly got away with more money than Yahoo. Let's move on. Dan Eve, what do you think about Mark Cuban, the basketball man, getting into Bitcoin and Ethereum?
Well, it's another kind of real world, I say respected but well known. Because obviously some people aren't a fan, but well known person that's talking about Bitcoin. So I think it's a big. Obviously, it's pretty big. Whether he did say that or Bitcoin's better than gold or Ethereum, but Bitcoin is definitely better than gold. I think you could even argue with like all the gold mining and all the byproducts of getting some gold out that of the ground, that Bitcoin is probably like, I don't know, less pollutant. Maybe, I don't know if anyone's done a study on that, but gold's pretty bad for the environment. But I think unfortunately that's where Ethereum might have a bit of a leg up from society at the moment, because everyone's jumping on the environmental bandwagon. Obviously the recent FUD, the last year has all been about Bitcoin mining and boiling whales and all of that, and carbon emissions because of Bitcoin. And obviously Ethereum is moving to proof of stake, which is poop of stake, and but obviously proof of stake has less environmental impact. So there may be a kind of a bit of a war with the environmentalists versus the Bitcoiners, who are hardcore proof of work versus the hardcore proof of stake. But the fact, we mentioned about fees a minute ago. So like the fee at the moment, I think it's saying $3.33 at the moment. Dogecoin itself, Dogecoin fees, considering like it's Dogecoin, right? It's a joke. The fees still are pretty much a joke. It's like 50 cents to 55 cents to sell some Doge, which is actually pretty hardcore. Ethereum, on the other hand, if we all remember back, way back when Vitalik laughed at Bitcoin for having like, I can't even remember the amount, but he was like, it was in 2014 or something, and he was like, our Bitcoin's fees, the internet of money, ha ha ha. So to send Ethereum right now will cost you $8.64. To send a token on Ethereum will cost you $26. And to have do a Uniswap, obviously, there's a Uniswap, so it's kind of cool. It's all decentralized and all that. $82. So, but going back, $8.64. So it's nearly 3 times as expensive to send Ethereum as it is to send Bitcoin right now. And that is why Bitcoin is king ding-a-ling and queen ding-a-ling for the gender diversity out there.
Josh Shigala.
What was the question again?
Mark Cuban. Ethereum
Oh yeah, that's right.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Cube. The old Cube. I love it. These people come out of the woodworks and they're just sort of experts because they made money somewhere else. Like Bill Gates is an expert in health, and Mark Cuban's all of a sudden an expert in Ethereum, and you get all these people that just because they've been successful somewhere else, they don't really equate to them being successful elsewhere instantly. Saying that, obviously he was a clever guy. He picked the top of the internet bubble, or maybe he realized, there's a bunch of lawsuits probably coming my way with this basketball deal. Let's just sell those, and I don't know. But or maybe he went and got his shoe shined, and the shoe shine boy was talking about getting into the internet and realized that, hey, this is a bubble we're going to pop. Nevertheless, he was pretty clever, and he sold at the top, and he didn't hodl because actually, I don't know, would you still be up? How's Yahoo doing compared to the top of the bubble? Still pretty crap, right? Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of cult of personality mouthpieces talking about stuff. Really, it sort of bores me.
I do think you're right, though, Josh. Cuban picked a good time to sell and should be celebrated for this. This is a special skill. You have to imagine he had the money in his hand. He'd never had that kind of money before, and he looked at Yahoo and he looked at the internet and he looked at the money in his hand, and he was like, I could do a lot of stuff with that money. and he took it off the market. And a lot of us are unable to do that. We talk about good things like 5%, 10% taking a little bit off. But there's another point where if you hit your number, and I don't know what his number was, I think he got, 100 million or 200 million. He got a lot of millions for this, right? But maybe he needed $1 billion, right, to be happy. And if Yahoo had stuck in there, he could have gotten that $1 billion. But it seems like he was pretty good with the 200 million. I think he bought the Mavericks for cheap. I'm going to screw it up. I want to say 30 to 80 million. Basketball teams used to be affordable, if that's affordable. But yeah, shout out to Cuban. But I totally agree with Josh. I wish they'd pick someone that was right about Bitcoin to talk about Bitcoin rather than someone that was completely wrong. And then now saying things about Ethereum and Dogecoin and other things, which are very questionable. It could happen, but it's questionable. Bitcoin gospel is so easy. It's like, oh, Bitcoin's nothing in its currency and it has a Lightning Network now. And it's like, wow, that's pretty rad, right?